Hello there, and welcome back to the Joey's Fly Fishing Podcast. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Ian.
And
we're your hosts.
Our topic for this night's podcast is rod building, and it's kind of been our style of art and our main focus here at Joey's Fly Fishing. The biggest thing about rod building is that you use creativity and imagination, and you get to really personalize your rod very well, and you get to pick the colors of the wraps. We've more recently started doing like the shape of your hand, so then it fits the grip of the rod a lot better. And in this one we have here, what we'll do is we'll kind of sharpen down this so it's a little bit lower, so it fits right here in your hand, and we'll make the top of it a little bit smaller so it can fit for your hand as well. For some of our younger students, we can shorten the handle just so it's easier for them to grip, and that works out really well. And it's really fun. That's our main focus here at Joey's, is the rod building aspects and how we can mentor through that.
There have been over 400 custom rods built here at Joey's Fly Fishing Foundation.
Our rods, which are production rods for sale, are sold at Sportsman's Warehouse, Ace Hardware, and online at joeysflyfishing.org. We at Joey's build these rods, the volunteers, employees, but the thing is we really take our time on those, and it's always about helping the foundation and growing the foundation. And just one purchase of those rods can be one kid having a scholarship and being able to go on a cut slam and build a personal fly rod for that, as well as tie their own flies for that. And I think that's something really cool about Joey's, and that's really what Joey's is about.
I agree, but it's not only us that get to have the fun. The students can make their rods as well, but those aren't for sale. Those are custom rods.
Which they do get to pick the colors for those, as well as the shape of those handles like we were talking about, and just really make it their rod. And it kind of is part of the thing that we can mentor with, is like sitting down one-on-one with a kid and just helping them wrap and talking to them. It's just part of Joey's, and it really is why this foundation is such a great foundation for especially younger people, and younger and older alike, to just come down here and have a safe place to be and to feel where they know they can do some good and help out and have some fun.
So now I'm going to go over the parts of a fly rod. There are a few main components, such as the reel seat to hold the reel. There's the cork that can be adjusted to the fisherman's hand. There's the blank and the guides. Most fly rods come in 2 or 4 pieces. This one comes in 2. And there are other small, meticulous, different components, such as the winding check, the hood, and the slip ring, just to name a few. So we start off by finding the rod's spine, just to find a line to put our guides on.
The way that these spines are created is when these blanks are being created in factories, they're spun almost like if you were to roll a piece of paper, and then it's just tapered down. And where that rod stops, as if you were to roll it, piece of paper, that last part of where the end of the paper would be, or the rod, that would be the spine, and that's where it has the most flex and bend, and that's where you can really get out to the fish. That's how a lot of these rods can move, and so a rod that has a tighter spine or a harder spine will generally be a different weight rod, such as 8 weights, 9 weights, 10 weights, and those are for not only bigger flies, but most likely bigger fish to catch them on as well. And then you have medium action rods, like 4, 5, and 6 weight, which are generally used all around here Wyoming for all kinds of fish. And then you have your really, really lightweight nymphing rods and really small rods like 1, 2, 3 weights.
This is our production room. Come on in.
Over here is we store rods that are being worked on currently. We have all kinds of rods from all different time periods, but generally we like to do our rod building in the winter and late fall, early spring. We have different colored threads over here. Anything from greens to reds to purples to yellows to blues. Anything you could possibly think of, we have them here.
Over here, we have our guide charts to help us figure out spacings that we'll need over on the tape measure.
The way that rods are produced is they have a blank that is tapered down from a thicker side to a less wide side. That's what the word is, I believe. And those guides are placed in a certain a range that is the average, so then it keeps lessening. The tapers down so that the thread can be fed through the rod at an even rate and a constant rate.
And going back to our epoxy station again, we have just some paint brushes, etc., tools, light, and denatured alcohol, paper towels, and obviously our whiteboard. Alright, so now we'd like to take you to our other room.
We have the lathes here where we customize the handles to different sizes, lengths, grips, all kinds of things that you can think of, from anybody with a short hand or a wider hand, or anything in that range at all. We have two of those that we use. We have one in process right now that we're making shorter for some younger students, and then we're fitting down the palm so that it will fit a little bit better. Up here we have storage of handles, reel seats, and sometimes we have kind of stuff, extras that are different caps and put together pieces that we use. Just a miscellaneous box. We have different guide spacings, different guide sets, and just all around resining, wrapping, and rod building items that you could possibly need.
Alright, so Anthony, what's your favorite part of the fly rod?
I think my favorite part, are you asking like my favorite part of the fly rod itself or the part of the making process I like the most?
The making process.
I think that would definitely be wrapping the guides. I love to see them stack so well, and it's just a uniform that just looks super well to me. What are your thoughts on not only like the making of the rod, but like the product of the rod itself? Would you say is your favorite?
I think, to be honest, processing would probably have to be resining. I mean, just painting over your wraps, burning tag ends. I think it's just a really cool, relaxing progress.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it's kind of therapeutic almost.
And then, what would you say your favorite part of a fly rod would be?
My favorite part would probably be the cork handle, because me and my cork handle have been through a lot of fish and stuff, cut slams. But I also really think it's important because it's shaped to my hand, shaped to fit.
That is where a lot of the grip is from, and where a lot of the action is going to be. So I think I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. What do you think are some tips and tricks for a successful rod?
Definitely trying to make sure you stay on that spine for the best flex and bend is definitely one. And if not that, the biggest thing is just, for me, it would be take your time.
Attention.
That would produce such a good rod, because somebody who rushes will have stair-stepping threads or
threads that don't align.
Yeah, and
threads.
So it really is taking your time and attention to detail.
Yeah.
And I mean, all along the process, just having fun too, but definitely pay attention to detail, and just have fun with what you're doing, but take your time as well.
Yeah, attention to detail, because I know a couple of times I've messed up on epoxy or resin, and yeah, it wasn't too good. I had to go back and file it down, redo it, and that was I did not like doing that. So attention to detail, a lot.
Our plans for upcoming production would be mainly just kind of getting the word out and spreading the news about that, so then hopefully those sell well. And the biggest thing about the rods is that that's producing money to let another kid come to this foundation, and that's paying for their rod and possible trips and fly tying lessons, and that's just experience. So that a lot of that stuff is, all that money from the rods is being put into newer students being able to come in, and a lot of times families who can't afford that, I understand that myself as well, but that really is something, and that could mean the world to somebody for them to come down here and be able to build a rod. just especially when times are hard now with recent pandemic. But
Yeah, I can agree with Anthony. For a little bit of my life, we've been tough with money, and I really think that a purchase of a rod could really help out a kid's life. I mean, I know for a fact I can put words into Anthony's mouth and say that Joey's has changed both of our lives dramatically.
I completely agree with that, and I could say the same just for Ian. The next thing we kind of have somewhat planned is to launch our Joey's Fly Fishing online store, and that would include rods, reels, tackle, all that kinds of good stuff, and that's where you could purchase all of those components, as in if you were to buy a rod and a reel and tackle such as flies or streamers or all that kinds of stuff, and it's really cool. That does help out the foundation, and especially like kids who may not be able to afford that. That's the biggest thing for sure.
Yeah, and with this launch of the Joey's Fly Fishing Foundation shop means that you don't have to live in Wyoming and go to a Sportsman's Warehouse or an Ace Hardware. That means you can go live in, I don't know, somewhere else in the United States, or I don't know if we're shipped worldwide yet. But anyway, you can be somewhere else and not in Wyoming, or further part of Wyoming, and you can order one of our fly rods, reels, or tackle. So I think that's a really cool part of that. So like we talked about, purchasing a rod helps support the foundation, providing opportunities for kids to get involved. Really good program, and I think that it supports a really good cause.
It does. It's also the quality rods that are produced by us here at the foundation, which are good rods, are handcrafted. Every single one that's just perfected to the tiniest detail that we can.
Yep.
And
we really get it in gear, kick it in. We attention to detail. Don't let any mistakes happen. We really work our best for these. So, handcrafted by us, the Joey's team. We work pretty hard for these rods. So, thank you for joining us on today's episode. Make sure to follow Joey's Fly Fishing on Instagram, Facebook, and joeysflyfishing.org to stay connected with all things Joey's. I'm Anthony.
I'm Anthony.
I'm Ian.
And thanks for watching tonight. Goodbye.
Bye.
Sayonara.